So starting with the indices question, 3 on its own has a hidden 1, and we know that when we multiply we're going to add the powers. So 1 add 4 makes 5, or we could have put the whole sum into our calculator and it would tell us that's 243. Power to a power, well, squared means we multiply it by itself. 3 add 3 is 6, so it's p to the 6. Might be easier to write this division as a fraction. So 8 goes into 16 twice, and then the powers of t, I've got a hidden 1, so I've got 1/2, and then subtract the powers. 1 subtract 3 is -2. Or I could have written it as 0.5 t to the -2, or I could have written it as 1 over 2t squared. Lots of ways I could write the same information. Multiplying add the powers, so 3 add n makes 9, so n must be 6. First thing we need to do is expand the bracket, so 2d subtract 2t equals 4t plus 7. Then I want all the t's on the left, so I'm going to subtract 4t. So I end up with 2d subtract 6t equals 7. Then move the d across, so subtract 2d. I get -6t equals 7 subtract 2d. And finally divide by the -6. So I have t equals 7 subtract 2d divided by -6. If I'd collected the t's on the other side, I'd get a similar answer. I'd get 2d subtract 7 over 6. Both are correct. Expand, so 7 times x is 7x. 7 times 5 is 35. 3y times 4y, 3 4s are 12, y times y is y squared. 3y multiplied by -3 is -9y. And then 2 brackets together means FOIL, so firsts, outers, inners, and lasts, missed. And then I can simplify, so I've got a t squared, put the t's in the middle together, which makes positive 6t, and I've got positive 8 on the end. Half as a decimal I should just know is 0.5, 0.75 as a fraction I should know is 3/4, and 19 out of 30 as a fraction. So pattern number 4, I'm going to have a grey, 2 whites, a grey, 2 whites, a grey, 2 whites, a grey. That's pattern number 3. So add on an extra 2 whites and an extra grey to extend the pattern. So grey rectangles in pattern 1 there are 2, pattern 2 there's 3, in pattern 3 there's 4, so in pattern number 8 there will be 9. There is a pattern with exactly 50 white squares, or if we look at the white squares, I've got 2 in this pattern, 4 in this pattern, 6. It's always an even number. So yes, because 50 is an even number. So if I've got 20 grey rectangles, so the number of grey rectangles is always one more than the pattern number, so it means I'm on pattern 19, and there's always double the number of whites, so 2 times 19 is 38 white squares. Doing the number part, 7.5 multiplied by 2.5 is 18.75. Then the powers, 10 to the 4 multiplied by 10 to the 3, add the powers is 10 to the 7, but this isn't in standard form because this isn't between 1 and 10. So I'm going to divide it by 10 to make it between 1 and 10, which means I need to multiply by 10 to the power. Easiest way to compare fractions is to change them all to decimals. So 3/7 is 0.428, 41% is 0.41, I've got 0.45, 2/5 is 0.4, 0.405. So number 1 is 2/5, number 2 0.405, number 3 41%, number 4 3/7, and number 5 0.45. Simplifying, I've got an AB plus another 5AB, that gives me 6AB. Then I've got negative 5G subtract 2G, which takes me to negative 7G. Factorise, well, 3 is the common factor of 6 and 9. 3 multiplied by 2m gives me the 6m at the start, and 3 multiplied by negative 3 gives me the negative 9 at the end. If we divide with powers, we're going to subtract them, so 8 subtract 3 is 5. 2 and 4 have a common factor of 2. Both terms have an x, and both terms have a y. 2xy multiplied by another x gives me 2x squared y, and 2xy multiplied by 2y, 2 times 2 gives me the 4, y times y gives me the y squared. Squaring brackets, I need to remember that means multiply by itself and then do FOIL. So firsts, outers, inners, and lasts, and then simplify, so w squared, put the 2 in the middle together, that's negative 10w, and I've got plus 25 on the end. The lowest temperature is down at negative 4 degrees. From Tuesday to Saturday, it's gone down by 3 degrees. It doesn't matter whether you wrote positive 3 or negative 3. The difference is 3. 8 degrees higher than Saturday, so from negative 4 going up 8 degrees will take me to positive 4 degrees. Integer means a whole number, so I want the whole numbers between negative 2 and 3. So negative 1, 0, 1, 2. I do include 3 because there's an equal sign here, but I don't include negative 2 because there's no equal sign at the other end. Solving, move the x's to the left, so subtract 3x, so I have 4x, subtract 9, still the inequality sign and a 4. Opposite of subtract is add, so 4x, keep the inequality sign, 13. Opposite of multiply is divide, so x, keep the inequality sign, is 3.25. Typing into the calculator. Calculator gives me 15122.688. Wants me to round it to 2 decimal places. There's my decimal point, 1, 2. The 8 is followed by an 8, so rounds up. So 15122.6, and then the last 8 rounds up to a 9. Square root of 17.69, my calculator says, is 4.205948169. 3 significant figures, so count from the beginning. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be 4.2, and the 0 is followed by a 5, so it rounds up to 1. Opposite of add is subtract. Opposite of multiply is divide, and negative 4 divided by 8 is negative 0.5. Do it on the calculator if you're not sure. Move all the c's to the same side, so subtract a c. And the opposite of add is subtract, so c equals 3. So I've got female and male people at the concert. I've got 30% female, which means I must have 70% male. And there are 1, 2, 9, 5 males. I want to know how many females there are. So what have I multiplied 70 by to get 1295? And the answer is 18.5. So I'm going to do the same to the female percentage. 18.5 multiplied by 30 is 555. So that was a ratio question. Pat and Julie share in the ratio 2 to 5, and Julie gets 45. How do we get from 5 to 45? Well, we multiply by 9. 2 multiplied by 9 is 18. A equals 4, and B we're substituting for a 3. Type into the calculator and we get 12. P equals 4. D we're replacing with a 2. Subtract 3. Put that in the calculator and we get 5. So, easiest way to do this is to find out what 1 pence will buy me in each case. So for the small, 342 divided by 88 will buy me 3.88 grams. The medium bottle costs 195 pence, so each pence will buy me 2.92 grams, so less than the small bottle. So at the moment the small bottle's the better one. And then finally 399 pence will buy me 1,500 grams, so each 1 pence will get me 3.75 grams. So still the smallest bottle gets me the most ketchup for 1p. So I'm making 18 mince pies and Elaine wants 45. So we've got to get to 45. So to go from 18 to 45, we need to multiply by 2.5. So butter, I need 562.5, and I've got a kilo, that's fine. Flour, I need 875 and I've got a kilo. Sugar, I need 250 and I've got 500. Mincemeat, I need 700 but I've only got 600. So I've not got enough. No, missing mincemeat. So this is investment, getting interest, so it's all going to be 100% plus. Then in the first year she gets 3.3%. So her £200 is going to be multiplied by 103.3 over 100. Taking it up to £206.60. Then in the second year, it's still invested, so it's still 100% plus, and this time it's 1.5%, so that's 101.5%. But now Katie has £206.6, and she's going to get 101.5% of it. Giving her £209.699. Can leave it like that, or we could round it to £209.70. Doesn't matter. Another increase question, so we're going to do 100% plus, and it's 12.5%. So it's going up to 112.5%. It was 210, so multiply by 112.5%. And we get £236.25. C was off the test. A is at 2 across 1 up. B is at -2 across 3 up. C is at -3 across -1 up, so that's where C is. And the line x equals 3, here's my x-axis, here's the number 3 on it, so it's the line going vertically through that point. The final question was you had to draw y equals 2x subtract 1 between -2 and 3. Easiest way to do this is on the calculator with mode 3 if you've got a grey calculator, mode 9 if you've got a white calculator. Type in the equation and start at -2, end at 3 with a step of 1, and we should get the table appearing of -3, oh no, negative, God, can't read, -5, -3, -1, 1, 3, 5, and then you had to plot that on the graph, being careful to read the scales. So -2 didn't actually go down to -5, -1 down to -3, 0 to -1, 1 to +1, and then join up your straight line.